we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, blockusup.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at blockusup.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high-quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t-shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event, but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1-800-975-3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Southern California area, please contact Kevin Peete of RE/MAX Patriots. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951-858-5942. That's 951-858-5942. Or you can email Kevin at kpsaleshomes@sbcglobal.net. That's KP, his initials, Kevin Peete, KP Sales Homes, all one word, at sbcglobal.net. Thanks again.
And this your boy Brandon
and Javante,
and we the Rogers Bros. And you rocking with my man Joe Beard
from the Marching Podcast.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Tanisha Brock, practice 2 consultant and a graduate of Virginia State University and Norfolk State University, and you're listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Hey, this is Kitty, and you're listening to the Marching Podcast. Hi, this is Nessa. You're listening to the Marching Podcast.
All right, you can unmute your microphones. And we're back. Shout out to you, Lamik. I appreciate that. They couldn't hear the sound when we started. I need to add that to my pre-show checklist. It doesn't work all the time, so I got to double check that. So thanks again. We're here with the 2021 Director Series podcast with Director Hollins of North Carolina Central. And we're going to dive into Part B, starting at Chapter 7. Again, all of these episodes, the previous 3 episodes, are on our website, they're on our blog, and they're on our YouTube channel. So you guys make sure, and they're on Twitter, so make sure that you guys go there and check those out. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. We at Part B again, right at Chapter 7, and the title of Chapter 7 is Travel. How do we get there? And this is always definitely something that's on people's minds when there's travel involved, whether we're going far out of town or we're going to the football game and being the visitor, the visiting team. So travel, how do we get there? Let me go ahead and ask you the first question. You give a list for traveling with the band. Again, Director Hollins has numbered lists, but he also has like descriptions. So sometimes some chapters will have one or the other or both. So again, purchase the book to check those out. And in the travel section, he has a list for traveling with the band. And one thing I thought that was powerful in this chapter is the statement that travel is an earned opportunity. What do you mean by travel being an earned opportunity?
Well, first of all, I think everything with the band is an opportunity.
Yeah.
When you give a student an opportunity to a chance to even be in your program, that's an opportunity because they get so much to gain. But to be afforded the opportunity to actually lead the university and be an ambassador and go somewhere, is almost like thinking about making sure your kids look right before you take them somewhere, even to the grocery store. You
Right.
know what I mean? So it costs a lot, and you want to represent the school or your organization in the best light.
Mm.
So, let's talk about the cost first. A lot of schools don't have budgets. Some schools don't have budgets or have the fundraise for everything that they have, and it'd be unfortunate that the fundraising do all this stuff and then you represent in the wrong way or
Mm.
something happens.
Mm-hmm.
And just to give an example, in Durham, NCCU and Duke is about 10 minutes away from each other, 10 to 15 minutes at the most.
Wow. Okay.
Right, and it cost us when we play Duke for the band to go. It cost us about $3,500 just to take the band.
Damn.
Put 'em
10
on a bus.
minutes.
Yeah, just to put them on the bus and go on the other side of town. You know what I mean? So with things like that, you have some kind of a heightened sensitivity of, man, y'all better appreciate
Right.
better
Right.
appreciate what we're doing.
Right.
Even if it's going down the street to play for something, it's an opportunity. And you just want to represent in the best light, man. So if you're a student and you're listening, just make sure you just understand everything is not free, even though you're reaping the benefits of it.
Right, right. And a lot of times that's not really in your head. You're just thinking, "Oh, we about to go to so and so
Right.
somewhere."
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely some type of mythology behind everything. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I thought that it was cool that you had that statement. Because like you said, just that's actually a really good example. Just going down the street costs some money. So
Mm-hmm.
having that in their head, I think, will help in a lot of ways. And you kind of bleed into it a little bit. You already said that, some schools don't have budgets, or some schools look at travel differently.
Right.
And then you go into about the chapter about how you can actually be able to go out and market the program and give students, that exposure and those opportunities. What should a
Mhm.
director to do to handle travel for his own school if the school is not really tripping about travel or they don't have the budget to travel? What should a director do in that case?
I think if you keep the educational opportunity first, um, you know, competition and all that is cool. But if you think about what is the educational value in taking the students somewhere, you can always tie that to your class. You can always tie that to something, that the students are going to take from that. That's going to be a life learning or life changing experience.
Right.
So if you're looking at somewhere to go and you want to make it music oriented, you want to teach something about history or culture, it's always some music associated with whatever culture that you're going to
Hmm.
study about. So you can always take the educational standpoint first if you're looking at a field trip or looking at something like that. On the collegiate level, a lot of times it's associated, marching band things or performances are associated with athletics. So, but remember, you've already paid for a bus, or somebody's paid for a bus. So, if it's going to cost the same thing and you're going somewhere, go ahead and couple that with an educational opportunity or a recruitment experience or something to market your school or your program. You got the bus already. You
Right.
know, so if you're going to DC, go ahead and stop by the monuments, let them walk around, and or do a tour or something like that, or stop at a high school and do a performance. Try to couple it with more than one thing instead of just going straight to the game, getting on the bus, doing your performance. Of course, it's hype. You're sweaty, and when you come right back, you know what I mean. And
Right.
that's it. So you can do more than just the athletic events.
Yeah. And I like that you said that, like you said, if you already got the bus, so go ahead and very similar to how you talked about band camp, incorporate some life lessons in there.
Yeah.
Because I think that builds a better band, but then those students are going to be better off, overall in the future. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate you adding that in there.
Yeah, man.
And then again, like you talked about, marketing the program, so trying to get as many things out of the trip as possible. But
Definitely.
yeah, yeah. You guys make sure that you go to chapter 7 and look at all the information he has there. We'll move on to chapter 8 now, and the title of chapter 8 is support organizations,
Mm.
extending the team. All right. Now, in this chapter, you have another list of job descriptions, and how important that is. Why is it? Why is having a solid support staff important for the band program?
Well, you can't pay everybody.
Right.
That's just to be honest, you can't. And there's people that really, they want to give time, they want to volunteer for the band. You want to have the right people around the group, of course, but you want to make sure that it's focused. You don't want to just have an entourage of 40 extra people that have no purpose.
Right.
So if it's a legitimate organization, that's even better. Like if you have a booster organization, because of course, they have some policies they have to go by, and they don't want to do anything that's going to be, shed a bad light on their organization either. So if it's a legitimate organization, even better. If you're on the college level and you got Greek organizations that support the band, that's better. That's good. So you have all these different people, and then you got your committees and your teams of volunteers that you may have. Like the media team is a big deal now. You got to document what you have going on. The people, your field and game day equipment managers. You want to make sure that people that's working with your show are coming to practice because they are part of the show.
Right.
You need to have some rules and guidelines for them to make sure that they put the flag on the right yard line, or have the water waiting on the band after the show. Those things that haven't. You got to rehearse those things as well. So it's important. All of these things that you have in place, either you have people or you're gonna do it yourself. So because those are things that have to be done. So you have to figure out how to make it work. And having those positions with volunteers is a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, very, very important. And then the second thing I wanted to ask you in the chapter, I see how a director should decide if a position should be a student or parent. And you kind of go into that as far as, and then again, that's a lot up to the director's discretion.
Right.
But my next question is, how do you get volunteers? Because, like you said, you can't pay everybody. So how do you reach out to those people and get volunteers?
I've never really had to reach out, honestly. It's always people. It's always alums. It's always parents. It's always supporters that want to give, But, looking at your campus community, if you put the ask out to your campus community, just like any other organization, if you need volunteers, they'll come. Mm-hmm. We have policies that you have to complete, like background forms and stuff like that. But, people like the band, people like to be around the organization, and people like to be a part of something. And then, it's just some good, kind-hearted, giving people that just like to do good things. So it hasn't been really hard to find help, keeping help. That's a different story. But you can find some help.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And then my final question for this chapter is, how often should the director communicate with these positions?
I just think that as much as it takes to get the job done, like I said, when my son went to high school, my son's in college now, but when he started high school, I would go to his school and just check out how they run their logistics. And they had this board that had every position on the board for family, for parents, as well as the student leaders. Mm-hmm. And it told them exactly what they should do every time or in every scenario. And it was like, wow, like it really opened my eyes. I wasn't that thorough. but it made me kind of adjust some things because people, if they know exactly what they should do, they'll do it. So I think that came up because it gave everybody, they didn't have to keep coming to the director and asking them. It was
Right.
listed. This is what you do on game day. This is what you do after the game. This is what you do when we're loading the bus. This is what you do when you get off the bus. You know what I'm saying? For all your volunteers and people. So we usually try to have a meeting once a week. And just like this book is a manual, I have a manual for almost everything, for traveling, for home games, for away games, for whatever. Staff number 1 does this, staff number 2 does this, it kind of gives everybody once I kind of did it once, it became kind of like the thing, kind of like a little Bible. And
Right.
it's just that first year that you got to do it to figure things out.
Right. And that's another thing I appreciate about the book. It's thorough, but and you said this last week. It's a lot of information in there, and you can follow it, or you can take the stuff out that you need. You can take what you can, take what you like, leave the rest, or vice versa. And I think that's really, 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 really helpful to band directors getting started. And then, like you said, like you develop your own regimen after that. But you started at the bottom with your book. That's why it's really, really a good book, and really trying to promote what you're doing here. All right. So that's the end of chapter 8. Support organizations and extending the team. We move on to chapter 9 now, and chapter 9 is student arrival day 1 procedures. And this is kind of opening up the door with band camp and all of that stuff. So again, this is both a numbered list and an itinerary for the leadership band camp. Can you talk about the leadership band camp, and why exactly is that important to reach out and touch with them first?
It's important for several reasons, because first of all, your student leaders are going to be extensions of you to some degree. Not everything about you they can do or even approve, but you definitely want to lay out some goals for the group and make sure that you have some the students be able to articulate those goals to the rest of the band, because you're not going to touch every person every day,
Right?
but your section leaders will. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure you get them, y'all. The other thing is, those students can't teach what they don't know. So uniformity is a big deal. So when you come into your leadership camp, you want to make sure everybody's doing the things in the same way. You know what I mean? And teaching things in the same way. Or if you have a certain formula for how to teach attention, or how to teach all your basic commands or your marching style, you want to make sure they have it down tight so they can reiterate those key points.
Right.
In their sectionals when if you're allowing them to have them. But you definitely want to get that group, that core group that can be extensions of what you want done.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you talked about uniformity. I've seen a lot in my experiences. No matter the program or whoever it is, there might be something that's assumed. Like, at Jackson State, like the way we march, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that is assumed. But then, like, over the years, I see a tape, and then I see somebody doing something, like, totally different. Or somebody doing something new that I ain't never seen. I was like, what's that? Like, what, So I really like what you said up there about uniformity, to make sure it's complete across the board. Because that's really, really important in, the show and just band in general. So I really like that. The second question I have for you is, how long is the leadership camp before the rest of the band comes?
So if we just started our spring camp here, but in the summer, I try to do at least 3 days if I can, but it all depends on budget.
Budget again.
Yeah, you got to pay for them to eat. You
Right.
got to pay for them.
Right.
So it all depends on budget. We're going to be definitely utilizing our online platforms a lot during the summer now, so we can get some things out the way before they arrive. However, you still got to get it done. So if we can utilize the section leaders to do the projects, getting the band room ready, on top of all the other stuff, teaching wise, um, 2 to 3 days is good. And I was started at the band room just doing something, getting those things together. But I've evolved. I've taken them to the beach and had them do workouts on the beach, and different team building things, and just to switch it up a little bit.
That's pretty cool. That's actually that actually sounds kind of fun doing something like that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So you brought up a new acronym I hadn't seen before, and that's SWOT. I don't know, SWOT or SWOT.
SWOT. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is the SWOT analysis?
A SWOT analysis, it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so every year, with every band program, I've done this, and it allows us to self-assess. What are our strengths? What are the things that we want to keep doing? What are the weaknesses that we want to fix? And, what are our opportunities that we have if we, keep accentuating our strengths? And what are our threats? What are the things we need to get rid of, or that's going to make our program, kind of put us at risk? And so we let the students have open discussions about those, and it allows us to look at what our goals are for the year. You know what I mean? So It's not just my goal. They're articulating what they feel like the goals are for the band as well. And so once you do that SWOT analysis, you get to self-assess, they get to self-assess, the sections as well as the band. We have open discussions. We now can close in and say, all right, well, these are our goals. Y'all have listed this stuff. This is the stuff y'all told me that we need to fix.
Right.
And it gives them some buy-in because they had some stake in the discussion. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and that always helps when the students, can talk about things and contribute to the conversation. That always helps.
Right. And that's part of your mythology. I've noticed it's a two-way street. Open communication. You have your standards, you have the things that you want to put out there and instill in the band, but you also you're doing a lot of hearing and listening to them, which I believe goes a long way. So that's outstanding. My next question there, you also have a list of objectives called SMART objectives. Can you tell us what those are?
All right, because I haven't went over this in a while either. All right, so when you asking someone to do something, SMART is also an acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely.
Okay.
All right. So when you have a goal or you have a direction, you want to make sure that it contains all those things. Make sure when you say something that you're giving somebody a command or whatever, or a direction that is specific, exactly, tell them exactly what you want done, that's measurable, that we can actually, how long the sectional is going to be.
Right. Right.
That's attainable. You're not giving them too much. You know what I'm saying? You can overdo some things. That is realistic. You can't give somebody something to do they don't have the tools, or unless that's something that you're going for. And that is time bound. You have an hour to do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you want to make sure that when you're giving directions, or even when you have your section leaders give directions that are extensions of your directions, that they have all those things. You can't tell somebody something and it leaves too many open holes for interpretation if it's not smart.
Right. Right. That's outstanding. And again goes back to what you were talking about earlier, that uniformity. You know what I'm saying? It keeps that uniformity consistent. That's a good word, man. And then you have the rest of the schedule for the camp. You break it down in the beginning, and then you have the itinerary for the rest of the camp in that chapter. So again, you guys go purchase the book so you can see that itinerary and see all that information that's posted there from Director Hollins. All right, and then the final chapter of this part of the book is Full Band Arrival, Schedules and Procedures. Now, you do another itinerary for band camp. and you put that out there. A question I have for you is you talk about putting the sectional leaders to work and what the first day should be about. Can you talk about why you do this?
Well, it's interesting, and I'm surprised that the section leaders haven't caught on to it. Well, some of them do. But so basically, you're practicing for your day one for the full band. So, when I do the check-in procedures for the section leaders, I give them what to do. I'm sign these papers, do all this stuff, and the staff does the stations. You know what I'm saying? Well, when the rest of the band comes in, the section leaders do exactly what was done to them. You get what I'm saying? So now they're manning the stations. They doing the registration, they're doing the instrument distribution, and so they're taking those things that the staff was doing, so that we can focus on the next thing, which is managing the entire picture. You know what I'm saying? It gives them some. It kind of trains them on what to do, but it gives them some responsibilities and a feeling of ownership, a feeling of buying into the program, because they're in charge of whatever this thing is. So you need to do that. They're learning how to be responsible, learning leadership skills. Your music majors are learning things that they're going to need to know when they become directors, and so all of these things are kind of transferable to whatever job you're going to have if you're managing people. So those are kind of the ideas that we want to do. We still need to remember this is an educational experience for them, and you're training them to be leaders. And so once you kind of keep that in mind, that kind of focuses everything that you want done with your program. I'm doing this because I am instilling these qualities.
Right. And again with you, man, more than just the band. You know what I'm saying? Installing something in these students that's going to benefit them in their life. Like you said, training leaders. Again, I think it's a really common theme that I think is important. You're doing so much more than just running a band program. You're building people, and that's what I really appreciate in what you're doing. And then my second question here in chapter 10 is, why is it important to give a full schedule for band camp? And it keeps with the thoroughness of what you're doing, but why do you think it was important that you gave the full schedule like you did?
I've seen it both ways, and we've been through it both ways. I think when we were in band, they said, "Be here this time." You don't know what's going on. You just better have everything you need for band. You don't know when it's gonna get out. You don't know when your break. You don't know anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, as I became better as a teacher, doing lesson plans and things like that actually help your students to understand why they're doing things. And with the younger kids, understanding why is everything. It's associated with their motivation and all of that. If it doesn't make sense, or if it's just that they just really different, it's not do as I say, not as I do, or just do it because I said so anymore. Right. Even though I would like to, be that way.
Right.
But I noticed that when things are laid out and they understand what it's leading to, that you get a whole lot more out of them, and that actually have a motivating force to get them from point A to point B. You know what I'm saying? They see it. They can see the end in sight, and they can see the goal. And they play video games. They know at the beginning. They know where they're trying to be.
Right.
They know what board they're trying to get to.
Right.
That's kind of the students that we have. They need to see where they're going.
Right. Yeah, and that's really important. Whereas I think in a lot of times, you telling someone something, and like you said, they don't know the end game into it. They may not put it in there, but then years go by, and then they get into, they have this excuse like, "Oh man, I remember when you told me this. I see it now."
Yeah.
So I like that you do it.
Yeah, even sometimes, even when it's laid out, they don't get it.
Right.
And you see it. Like that's a good point. And a lot of times they don't see why you are approaching it this way until they're done. You're right. I have so many students that's like, man, I did not understand, and come back and apologize.
Wow.
Like 5 years later or 3 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm sorry. I understand. I was the asshole.
Right.
I get it. Right. You know what I mean? Just straight up. Well, I'm glad you finally got it.
Right.
You know.
That's real. Cause I know I done it a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely at that age now where I done said a lot to my parents or other directors, and I appreciate it. And that kind of rolls into like your next section. We'll talk about because of course you gave acknowledgments to your family and people close to you, but you also gave some acknowledgments to some of them people that you just talked about. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool and highlighting that. Again, for the rest of the chapter, he's got day 1, day 2, you know what I'm saying? Morning schedule, wake up, eat, sectionals, all of that stuff. So you guys make sure you make sure that you purchase the book. It's just, like I said, like over and over again, it's just a really thorough book. And if you're a band director, I promise you that this will definitely help you out at any level. So we're at the end of part B, and right now we can take our second commercial break. I do want to, for a second though, give you some props and a round of applause. You were featured, because I think you posted it on your IG. You were featured in some of the music educators from Norfolk State University. Could you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, man. The Ice for Life Foundation. They are some young ladies that created an actually organization that out of the dancers at Norfolk State called Hot Ice. They have a legitimate organization that does things in the community, and so they about right pre-COVID, they decided they wanted to honor all of the music educators that marched in the Spartan Legion, and they call us Legion Legends.
Nice.
And so I definitely appreciate being one of the Legion Legends. It was an awesome opportunity to actually be to be selected as one of those Legion Legends. And it's a lot of us out there, man, that's over collegiate bands or professional bands or on all kinds of levels, like a whole lot. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us are from the same era as well. And so I'm very proud of that, man. I could name 5-6 collegiate band directors right now that I either marched with, were on staff, or that's some people that went to grad school there and you didn't even realize it.
Right.
But yeah, we got a lot of people out in the field, man. It's an honor to be in amongst those great people.
All right, let me give you a round of applause. And I know I said it a lot, man, but yeah, I'm just really proud of you, what you're doing. And then in that book, your resume, it's tight, brother. You know what I'm saying? It's tight. Like you said, I know you done went through a lot of pain with a lot of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But seeing that list, because they had your picture and then they were like, director here. I mean, that looks tight. You know what I'm saying? So you very blessed, man. And like I said, man, I still remember them days, man. And now you grown and everything and leading a major program. That's pretty dope, man.
The time went by so fast, bro.
Yeah, it did. I mean, you telling me the other day that your son was in college. I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, that's like we getting old, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's outstanding. So we're going to take our next commercial break. And then we're going to come back with Part C, Sound Living. And, I see you got the shirt on there. But, yeah, we basically landed a lot of the information. And you go into the conclusion of the book. So I definitely wanted to highlight that and talk about that while we're in our series. And we're doing pretty good for time. This is the 2021 Director Series Podcast, Diary of a Mad Band Director with Director Hollins. Band director at North Carolina Central University. We'll be right back.
You want the best barbecue around? Smokey-O's coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokey-O's know what's good for you. You want the best barbecue around? Smokey-O's coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokey-O's know what's good for you. Smokey-O's, come check us out.
All right, this next commercial is a live read, providing online or one-on-one instruction for high school and college students in algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, physics, and chemistry. Visit Math-Sci-Tutor.com. That's Math-Sci-Tutor.com to schedule a session, or contact Michael Okoro at michael@mathscitutor.com. So that's math, MATHSCI tutor, TUTOR.com. Especially now with all of the distance learning, I'm definitely sure that this will come in handy. So make sure you guys visit Math-Sci-Tutor.com and contact Michael Okoro for any help you need. All right, this next read is for Sofia's Barbecue and Fish. Call them and make you an order at 951-445-6696. They're located out here in Riverside, California on March Air Force Base. Or you can go online and order something from them at grubhub.com, seamless.com, or postmates.com. Bringing the good old St. Louis style flavor and vittles, if you will, out here to Southern California. So go ahead and support Sofia's Barbecue and Fish. They're on IG and Facebook and all of those places. 951-445-6696, or you can order from them online at grubhub.com, seamless.com, and postmates.com. Sofia's Barbecue and Fish. And our last live read is for the one and only Bull City Music School, providing, Bull City Music School is the modern approach to music. Enroll today and experience one of our virtual classes, and I can personally say that they're great. My daughter is a student at Bull City Music School learning the piano, and her teacher, Janetta Powell Hopkins, is doing an outstanding job. Contact Bull City Music School at 919-423-5701, or you can go to their website, bullcitymusicschool.com. That's all one word, bullcitymusicschool.com. Bull City Music School, the modern approach to music.
Do you like marching bands? Do you love band videos? Go subscribe to Lamik's Videos YouTube channel. Lamik's Videos YouTube channel has the largest archive of unbiased marching band videos on the internet. iPad giveaways, AirPod giveaways, and more. One more thing. Do you like this video? Prove it, motherfucker. Hit the like button right now. Hit that like button and subscribe to Lamik's Videos right now.
Hello, this is Jamie Barnett, California educator, graduate of Cal State University Long Beach, Chi Beta Chapter, Spring 98, Q-Sci-Fi, and you are listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Hello, this is Manuel Powell, one of the 2015 Marching Podcast Scholarship recipients and 2016 Jackson State University Saxophone Section Leader, and you are now listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Hello, my name is Kellen J. Christian. I am the Director of Bands at Oak Haven High School in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm also the Assistant Director of Talladega College in Talladega, Alabama. I'm a native of Chicago, Illinois. I'm a 2007 graduate of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. M4, baby, swag, stand up. And you are listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
All right, we can unmute the microphones, and we're back. Quick shout out to the folks in the chat room and give y'all a round of applause. I always appreciate you guys listening or letting me know when the sound ain't there. so I don't just be doing the whole show without no sound. So appreciate
Oh,
y'all.
man.
Also too, you had someone in the chat room. I think Gerard Woodson or Jerome Woodson
Oh, snap.
said best director I ever had, the GOAT.
My man.
Yeah, man, I thought that
Yeah.
was really cool.
Yo, yeah, we got a. Oh boy, yeah.
That's what's
Yo,
up, man.
just talking about growth. He was one of those students. I taught him in high school. He went to my alma mater, Norfolk State. Things didn't work out. I pulled him right up to Smith with me when I became the band director at Smith. So it was a couple of students I had with me for a long time, and he was one of them, man. And he was a knucklehead in high school, man, for real. But it was crazy. But how much he grew and matured over the years, man. So definitely appreciate you. Also, Gerard, I still got your diploma at my crib, man, in the garage. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up,
20
man.
years old.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. That's always good to hear. Always good to hear. All right, so we're at the final section of the book, and again, it's been fun, man. I really appreciate your time and actually going over this book. I always learn something myself and going through all of this. And chapter 1 to Sound Living is conclusion, let them hate. And you had a shirt on, I believe, last week that had something about this.
Yeah.
And in this chapter, you actually give another numbered list of your experiences to Sound Living, and a lot of which you explain what that is in chapter 1 about Sound Living. Why do you think it was important to write this particular chapter?
I think this chapter kind of brought the book home. It was like, I've been through all of this stuff, and these are the lessons that it taught me. And this is what I want to leave you with in the most simplest form.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I got out of my journey, and I want to give these 5 things to you. I think it's 5. And if you just kind of stick to these things, and you'll probably have some longevity in the field.
That's outstanding. And of all the ones that you numbered, do you have one that you feel that's most important, or one that you like the most, or like your favorite per se?
Probably two together. So first of all, since we're in music, just never stop learning your craft. Mm-hmm. And then take care of yourself. Those 2 things, because you want to stay in this. The field is ever changing. You want to make sure you stay current, stay on top of your stuff, but you don't want to give so much to this that you miss out on your own life, and you miss out on raising your kids, and you miss out on loving people that love you back. I mean, you know what I mean? Or you just neglect your health. But there's so many directors, man, I've seen. I mean, this is taking them out. Like, they've given everything, and they didn't make it. Right. Heart problems or whatever, and just whatever health issues, because we just give so much and put in so many hours, and not knowing as soon as you're done, they're gonna post your job like the day that you gone.
right.
You know what I mean? And so, you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, and not giving 100, all of yourself. You need to give a lot of yourself, because it demands that, but you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself so that you can, enjoy your entire life.
Right. And then I was actually going to say that myself. That was my favorite one, was taking care of yourself. Because, I mean, one thing about bands, especially at the collegiate level, you directors be there the whole time with us. So from like 6 until, or whenever, band practice starts, if it's 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever, like those directors are still there. And
yeah, and students have a misconception when they don't see the director. They think they're gone doing,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
they think they on vacation somewhere.
Right.
If you don't see me, that means that I'm somewhere doing something for you.
Right.
And that's just it. So don't think it because you don't see your director, they ain't doing that. Some of them might not be doing that, but but this one is not that one.
Right.
That is not the case in my situation.
And I think also that reiterates what you said earlier about establishing those student leaders, because those student leaders are out there. So, they'll at least remember that, so that they can handle their business. So, and then in chapter 2, you have forms and checklists, template for success. You list all the forms that a band director should have, and you list them by month. Now, I really, really like this, because you did a lot with like so much of the breaking down of lists and descriptions, but now you putting stuff by the month. Why did you put this part in the book? Why is this important to put the information by month like you did?
So you don't forget. Sometimes I have to go back, and say, hold on, I know certain things happen at certain times. And usually your first year, you don't know that. You kind of go in a whirlwind. You don't know. But after your first year, you kind of see that, these same things kind of happen every year. So we know if we're going on a trip in September, we know that in July, we shouldn't start working on it the last week of August. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So certain things that will help you kind of have some sanity if you go ahead and do it and have it squared away before it's your time to do it. Because the last thing, that's the biggest thing is stress, is we have to depend on so many approvals and so many people to do our job. So we have to make sure that we do it in a timely manner, and then use the rest of the time just following up and bugging the mess out of them to give us the signature.
Right.
But a lot of times if you try to give it to them the last week, you probably done. Not happen. No bus is not coming.
Right.
Those, like, you got to make sure all your paperwork and all the signatures are signed off, and everything that you need is done, in a timely manner. So I just wanted to kind of lay it out there. Some of I've been at so many schools, a lot of the stuff is similar. A lot of the timeline is similar. So.
Okay. And is there one form or one month that's most important to you?
I believe that starting off your year is so important. So, like usually usually camps start last week in July, beginning of August. So your month of July is so important. But I think that a lot of times our directors use our summer. We kind of work all summer anyway. If you taking off all summer, you awesome. Like, for real, you figured it out, like totally.
Right.
But I think if you figure out how to manage your summer months, so that when you walk back in that band room with the students, you have your plans and have it focused. I saw one school, they plan out their shows for the entire year, even HBCU, and I think that's dope. Like a lot of schools are going to that, like making sure all the music and remnants of the drill is already done. If you can do as much prep work as you can, it's best. Like a person like me, who's like the administrative side is so heavy. My administrative side and my creative side do not merge at all. So when I'm busy and I got to do all these forms and all this paperwork, it's hard to figure out the music and the show concept like simultaneously. Like it's really, really tough for me to do that. So, having staff or if it's just working early help you do that, because I just can't do it. It's not. That's my weakness.
Right. And I think it takes some of the pressure off too. You know what I'm saying? Like where you got it all mapped out, and then when it's ahead of you, it takes a lot out of it.
Yeah.
All right. So we're at the final section of the book, and again, let me give you another round of applause for a really, really good book. Really, really good read. I want to ask you, can you talk about the people that you listed and why they were important to your success?
I have to start off with my, my immediate family growing up. My mom, my brother, my sister. Um, man, growing up in South Carolina in the '80s, it was different. I could talk about so many things, but I appreciate my upbringing. It kept me focused. Was raised by a single mother, and she was hard on us. Like she was hard. And I appreciate it. It kept me on my toes. It kept me really, really focused on what I wanted. And then my brother and sister are a little older than me, so I don't even gonna say I was spoiled, but they protected me. You know what I'm saying, from a lot of stuff. And but I still found my way to get in some trouble. So definitely want to acknowledge my mom and my brother and sister. Mom married later. My stepdad has been awesome as awesome role model as an adult. When he came in my life, and he's been awesome. Of course, I met my wife around that time as well. My wife and my brother-in-law. My wife, of course, been with me in my career my entire time. I had my son young, and we got 2 kids, and I definitely want to. It's interesting how they kept me focused as well, because I knew I had to keep a job.
Right.
So
Right.
the time of playing around it made me have to grow up. You know what I mean? So I appreciate my kids for keeping me focused and making me grow up. And they smart, man. They hold me to things, man, and they watch. It's hard sometimes to watch boys be the best and the worst of you.
Right.
They're a mirror of you.
Right.
And so, now that they older, it's crazy. So my kids definitely, man. The students, all of the students that I've endured, I won't say endured, that would have been bad. That I've encountered. I taught them, but they also taught me. You never stop learning, because the students change. You're dealing with human beings. Some of them had some really interesting situations that you had to mentor them through. And I felt like been through a lot. So the ones that actually communicate, or I can get it out of them, I felt like I could kind of give them a little bit to move. And I still do that, man. I still do that. I still try to talk as much as I can and help students through the things that they're going through. So all of the students, man, from the middle school students, I'll name the schools: Wilson Middle School in Charlotte, Highland Springs High School, that put me in the game. Moving from there to Johnson C. Smith University, being a band director, going to St. Augustine's University in Raleigh, and then coming here, North Carolina Central University. It's all of the students taught me something along the way, and I appreciate it. All of the musical levels been different, and it made me have to adjust from my arranging to my drill writing to approaching concert bands. Sometimes I did jazz bands. Sometimes I did all kind of things. Private lessons. I've done everything, man. I've taught almost everything. It's been cool. And I think I put an acknowledgement in for of all the HBCUs and the influences and just being a part of the culture, man. I check people all the time. Like, if you from a HBCU and you're like, man, this is the world I've ever been to, man, I hit you up.
Right.
Immediately, even if I don't work there. Like, I DM so many people and be like, man, shut up. You messed the whole brand up.
Right.
Like, if you got an issue, you deal with that issue. But you coming on Facebook or whatever, or IG or Twitter, or talking about it, it's not gonna fix the issue.
Right.
You need to go to the source or contact me. I'll tell you who to contact. You know what I mean? But don't mess our brand up. We are our biggest. We got to be our biggest cheerleaders. But sometimes we're the ones that talk the worst on ourselves, and we can't be that way. We want our organizations to grow and our schools to grow and be looked at in a good light. We don't mess your brand up, man. Moving forward, all the band directors, man, from middle school to high school, Michael Foxworth in South Carolina, a legend. Duncan Gray, Johnson C. Smith taught me a whole lot. Mr. Adams, Dr. Sanford, the entire staff that's still there, Miss Sanders and William Bethea, and all my people at Norfolk. They just been great, man, and they all contributed something to the person that I am. Can't forget Alzy Walker, man. He was my first band director at Norfolk State. He was only there 1 year, but the influence that he had on me for that 1 year was an awesome musician and conductor, man. So all of my band directors, all the colleagues, all the administrators, man, that, you know, I don't want to say good and bad, but challenging. The ones that didn't renew my contract, thank you. I appreciate you. You know, that was humbling, and it taught me a whole lot about what I should and shouldn't be doing. And all the alums and the support, you know, all the people that supported me and your programs. Remember, the director not gonna be there forever, but you're gonna be an alum forever. Mm-hmm. So you got to make sure that you stay loyal to your program and keep giving back in whatever way you can. So those are my acknowledgments. Hopefully, I touched and I covered everybody. But man, it's important that we stick together as a community, and we support each other. And all the directors and people that aspire to be directors, keep listening, bringing it, finding more resources to get better at what you're doing, and just stick with it, man. I found COVID has been crazy because I found a new passion for what I do now. You know, when it's taken away, you realize
buddy,
how much it meant in your life. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, now being able to revive the culture and get back to it, I look forward to it, man.
That's outstanding. Let me give you a quick round of applause there. I even like the part where you gave a shout out to the students that got in trouble, or you know, you had to reprimand. You know what I'm saying?
Some of them probably on here tonight.
Right.
You know, some of them, and you know, man, Joe, man, the thing about that, man, is like you care about the students, but it's your job to discipline them. You know what I mean? Because either they're gonna learn from you or they're gonna learn from life itself. You know, you can get kicked out now. I might bring you back if you learn your lesson. You know what I'm saying? I might.
Right.
But you know, at least let's teach them something now, man. Don't let things fly. Let them stay on them, because you know, I just rather get the discipline in the house than be in jail. You know what I mean? Right. So that's just it. So yeah, hopefully, you know, those people I kicked out, y'all are, you know, you're not just still mad at me. You know, I was trying to save your life for real. It ain't nothing personal.
Right. Right. That's pretty powerful, man, because like you said, man, like you can learn it now, you can learn it inside the house, because life gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? You gonna learn one way or another.
You gonna learn.
Yeah. And sometimes those lessons are really, really hard. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of pain with that. And even if people don't learn it, when you tell them, just like you said earlier, somebody will come back 3 years later or 5 years later. It was like, damn, you know what I'm saying, Professor Hollins, you know, thank you, you know, I really appreciate it. So I thought that was my favorite part of the acknowledgement, man. I thought that was cool. When I read it, I laughed, you know what I'm saying? But I totally dig it, man. Yeah, so we at the end of the podcast, and let me give you another round of applause. It's been a really good one.
Yeah, man, this has been really cool, man. Really cool.
Yeah, and like I said, it's on our Twitch, our blog, the website, YouTube. You know, it'll be here. I'll keep reposting things on Twitter. You know, the individual episodes. But yeah, I really think this is a really good book. You guys make sure you go on to Amazon and get Diary of a Mad Band Director. You see the cover there. You go ahead and make sure you get a copy of your book to support the craft. And then to also learn something as well. You know, it's a lot of things that Professor Hollins has talked about that went outside the band. So definitely I think that that's really important. Do you have anything that you wanted to say as we close? Any advice or anything to get folks to read this book before we close out?
Just two things. First, I want to definitely shout out to all the HBCU band directors and let all the students know, even though I want to get every student at NCCU, I know I can't. So we are hosting another virtual HBCU night, man. It ran so smooth. Directors wanted us to come back. So tell your students about it. HBCU night part 2 will be Tuesday, April 20th, 6:30 to 8:30. It's a Zoom event. Man, it ran so smooth, man. You could be in and out of there in the 5 to 7 minutes for real.
Okay.
So Directors, tell your students about it, man. You could audition for almost 20 schools at one time, one audition.
Wow.
One audition, man. And there's some different names on there, man. It's not the same name, same old schools, man. Some different names on there, and you might learn something about the schools that you never seen before, programs that are thriving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so definitely tune in this Tuesday, 6:30 to 8:30. The other thing I guess I wanted to say is, man, it's time to really, really look and redefine what band is. Some of you guys are doing it now. We have been forced to kind of re-examine what we've been doing and refocus it and incorporate technology and doing some other things. Don't just go back to the way it used to be. You know, like, let's think about what we learned in this situation and take the best of it so our students can learn and we can move our art form forward. Those of you who are doing football or whatever, things not going to be lined up the same probably this year, man, but just be that we out there, you know, that we're taking a step to get out there, and we're taking a step to get the culture back what it was. And if you're a fan, man, don't be so hard on us, bruh. Like, we out here, we trying to keep the kids going. And if the student, after being sitting home and having played an instrument all year, wants to go to college and play, man, it's like a blessing. So you need to understand that, like, we're trying to keep this thing going. You're a fan. You're a fan. They're a fan, and just appreciate the things that we can get, that we're trying to provide. Other than that, man, I don't really have anything. I'm just happy that you gave me this opportunity to talk and get some things off my chest. Part 2 is coming. I'm living it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's some things that really, really are on my chest. You purchasing part 1 will help me put out part 2. So go ahead and get that book so I can go ahead. I'm telling you, the part 2 is crazy. I thought part 1 was crazy. Part 2 is crazy.
Let me give you another round of applause. Yeah, man. But like I said, man, just really proud of you, man, and the success you had. And then again, you then giving back, and giving back in this form. Not a lot of us are writing books to tell our story. So I really wanted to thank you for that, and I really wanted to highlight you for what you're doing, because I knew I was gonna purchase the book, but I was like, man, let me go ahead and put you out there so people can actually pick up some things and learn some things from you, and then help you, with the platform to spread it out to more people.
You just made me think of something.
Okay,
that right there, because that was in my mind too, man. Writing it, once I decided to actually publish it, was the fact that, man, I don't want to say our counterparts, but other cultures, they would take their situations or the simplest thing that we know how to do and write it down and sell it right back to us.
Oh, wow. Man, brother is deep, brother. Man, I can't.
Like, we need to write it down. We have something special. HBCU band, period, is something specific. It's a niche. It's a market. People want to know how we do what we do. Write it down, man. Start documenting what you're doing and package yourself. Like, we special, man. So, yeah, don't let nobody try to take what we have and sell it right back to you. Like, we're doing it.
Right.
So I guess that's my last thing.
Yeah,
so
man. Yeah, man, that's so true, and so many different ways and formats. You know what I'm saying? I could give you a list. But yeah, man. I think that was really, really powerful to say, because this is something specific. That's how I started this podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just that very idea.
Yeah, man.
So let me give you another round of applause.
Appreciate it, Joe.
Yeah, man, and it's still a trip, man. Like, just remember '96, and now we here now, and you know what I'm saying, you done had all these experiences with band, and being a head band director now. So that's really really exciting. So good luck to you. You know this summer because I done seen your schedule. You got it month to month. So
Woo.
you know what I'm saying you ain't get ready to just start in August.
Mm-mm.
So good
Mm-mm.
luck to you in this upcoming year and this season. And we wish the good old Eagles much luck and much success. Real quick in the chat room, uh, Destiny Baker said
Hey,
she appreciates all the hard work that you're putting in for us, and much love to Mr. Hollins.
thank you, Destiny. That's my
Uh,
girl.
and yeah, Scarfinger Hood Rich, what's up, man? That's like one of the greatest internet tags I've seen. I believe that he went to Norfolk State because he hashtag Behold,
All right.
and he said he actually lives by Highland Springs right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's up, man. And all the people, Hassan Gaddy, I saw
Yeah.
Dr. Davenport in there, Oscar Wright, Rashida Gregory,
Hey.
Xavier Thomas, Daughtry.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Got a lot of Eagles in there, man. That's what's
yeah,
up.
yeah. Lamik's videos, of course. But yeah, all the people again that support through the chat. It's been good to get to know you and see your names and see your comments and stuff throughout all the shows. So I appreciate you. So again, the 2021 Director Series, Diary of a Mad Band Director by T.D. Hollins. Make sure you go to Amazon and pick you up a copy. Diary of a Mad Band Director. All right, so our closing credits, if you will. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial. We'll post your website on our blog. We'll help send out your information through social media. So contact us so we can help build your business. Also, we have revamped our apparel store. So go to themarchingpodcast.com and you'll click on the Nail Your tab and get, we got all new t-shirts and all new things set up. We sent Professor Hollins a mug. Shout out to you. You got the mug there. And all of those things, all of those proceeds go to help run the network and to also help give something to the students that we work with for National Signing Day for marching band. So your money is going to a good place. All right. That's all the time we have for this podcast. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time. And thanks again, Brother Hollins.
Thank you. Thank you.